business is simple. You answer the phone when somebody calls you, you do what you say you're going to do, and you just execute it. It's simple as that. And it blows me away the amount of people that don't do that.
This is Eric Anderton, and you're listening to Construction Genius, a leadership masterclass. Thomas Edison said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. If you're a construction leader, you know all about the perspiration, and this show is all about the 1% inspiration that you can add to your hard work to help you to improve your leadership. Welcome to Construction Genius. My name is Eric Anderton. On today's show, Sean Cook, the president and CEO of Cook Engineering, is my guest. He and his wife, Shellie, started their business 17 years ago, and they're a general engineering company out of Rancho Cordova, California. They've grown the business to $30 million. They employ 60 people, and they've had a massive positive impact. In today's interview, we're going to talk about not only the impact that Sean has had with his business locally, but internationally. And specifically, you're going to hear a very interesting story about Sean's encounter with a black mamba. Thank you for listening to this episode. Feel free to share it with other people. Give me your feedback and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple or on Google. And give us a review as well. And I appreciate you listening today. Sean, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me, Eric.
We were just chatting offline, and you told me that just recently you killed a black mamba.
I did.
What were you doing killing a black mamba? Tell me all about it.
Well, I couldn't find any here in Rancho Cordova, so we were actually in Uganda. Biloba was the village we were in, and we were doing some excavation, and we basically dug up what we thought was a nest. So we were excavating inside of a hill and filling in the jungle with dirt to give them more real estate. And I look down on the fill site and I see a couple little guys over there with a little twig whipping the ground.
Let me ask you here. What's a general engineering contractor from the Sacramento area in California doing in Uganda?
Well, we've been sponsoring a village for the last 4 or 5 years over there, helping them build artesian wells, roofing their church, helping them get their school built. I've been cutting checks and sending money over here and there, and just wasn't feeling quite complete with what was going on, and thought we could do more. And actually was talking to my wife, and she's like, I think it's time to go. So
you go over there and you meet the black mamba.
Well, we met a lot of other people first, but yeah, it was about a 4-foot black mamba, so it was probably a baby.
A baby.
And these two guys were whipping it with a little stick. So as I walked up, I saw it, and all they were doing was upsetting it to the point where, it was becoming a dangerous situation, I thought. So picked up a couple bricks and, 2 strikes and got it on the third one, fortunately. And kind of walked away from it feeling a little grateful that I was still alive and those guys were alive. And the ironic part of it is, they consider it a snake, like we consider a rattlesnake a snake. It's just a snake, and you kind of know the potential dangers, but that's what you live with. When you're from the United States, it's a little different. It's the cobras, the mambas, it's crazy.
Yeah, because here in our area, we have lots of rattlesnakes around. I mean, even up at your property, right? You deal with rattlesnakes.
Yeah, they don't chase you like something in Africa might.
Oh, the mambas are they're a chasing species, huh?
Apparently, they can travel up at speeds of 12 miles an hour, which is way faster than I could probably run. So.
Yeah. And how you feel? Yeah. Now it's interesting though, because I think aren't I wonder if, because I know like the rattlesnakes and the baby rattlesnakes are actually more dangerous than the adults in our area. Do you think the same's true with the mambas?
It is. They can't control their venom, and I asked some of the guys. I go, well, what happens to people who get bit? They go, well, you get very sick. I go, well, what do you mean by sick? Well, you got about 45 minutes until you're dead. And if you can get to the hospital and get antivenom or whatever, I'm like, well, that's a couple hours away. So
you're dead.
Writing's on the wall, right?
Yep.
So we actually saw two. The second one got away. But yeah, it was an eye opener. Symbolic for me, I mean, it was interesting.
Symbolic of what?
Survival, going to third world country and expecting the unexpected and getting different things thrown at you. We saw monkeys raiding gardens, and it was kind of crazy. They almost acted human as they were looting the garden.
Oh yeah,
running down the hill with their fruits and running into the trees and eating them and throwing the rinds back at the people that owned the garden. I mean, it was crazy.
It's interesting. We in the United States particularly, we're used to cutting checks, and you run a good business, you have some additional financial resources, but that specific decision to go to Uganda, which is obviously not a first world country, and to leave the comforts of the first world, what really drove that for you?
Well, like I said, I think the spark that started it was my wife. And ironically, it was a couple days before the safari tourist got nabbed in Uganda and was on the news.
Yeah.
So, she suggested that we consider going, and then that happened, and we were kind of like, okay, well, that could happen anywhere, right? So it just kind of put us on alert. But I think overall, it was just having a tie with those people, having a connection, and seeing what they were doing over there, and seeing how we thought we could bring our expertise to their country and help them get to the next level. So they're not thinking about how to keep the water out of their church, keep it from flooding during the rain season. And instead maybe working on e-commerce or something to help create self-sustainability for that village. So I think that was the overall draw to go and do the work. We took Mike with us, our superintendent, field superintendent, general superintendent that basically runs all the guys in the field. So we kind of took two of the key people out at a busy time of year.
Yep.
So it was in June. And fortunately, we have awesome people that can, take over and run it while we're gone. Not to say it didn't put a little crunch on us, but definitely we're able to go through it without any big hiccups.
What have you done to position your business in such a way so that you're able to take yourself and your top field guy, spend 12 days in a third world country and have a positive impact?
Well, it's consistency, it's duplication, it's creating a set of values that become consistent within the organization. It's creating systems that people can follow so that when one individual's not here, everything runs the exact same. This isn't something you do overnight. It's taken several years to build this up, because when most people start a business, a couple people in their group, and it's easy to just shout out and say, hey, don't forget to do this.
Right.
And then as you're building up over the years and you've got more and more employees, you have to start creating specific plans and systems that can help keep it consistent.
So going back to what you talked about the consistency of processes. You also talked about the consistency of values. What would you say are a couple of the key values that drive your business?
Well, what we tell people here is, first and foremost, is we're not a construction company, we're a service company.
Okay.
So we love the gratification of the end product, to see the building, the site work, everything done on a project, but anybody can do it.
Right.
And the difference that we try to instill in our employees is that it's how you get there how you get there with that client that makes the difference. So it's basically the service. So, things like answering the phone.
Right.
You think it's a pretty simple concept, but not everybody does it. Being able to get a hold of me or Mike or Sean Scott or anybody in the business at any hour is huge, especially when something's going wrong.
Okay, excellent. You're right there. There's, you guys move dirt, right? You're a general engineering company. There's lots of guys out there who've got a backhoe or, piece of equipment and they can do that. But it's that focus on service that sets you apart and has enabled you to build that success over the years. In a lot of construction companies, there's often a struggle when a new piece of software or a new technology is introduced, particularly, the office has got, some great idea and they're going to push it out to the field. And the field's like, why don't you guys just leave us alone and let us, do what we do? How do you handle that conflict that can occur between the aspirations of the folks who are introducing the technology and the realities on the ground and the adoption of that technology?
The same way I handle my kids. It's because I said so, right? No, not at all. I think the biggest thing is, if you take a step back, a lot of construction companies are the office versus the field. And they're almost two different companies. And what we've done over the years is tried to create one team. The office can't survive without the field. The field can't survive without the office. And we've always promoted that. So there's no wall between the two parts of the business. And I think out of general respect, the field knows, okay, well, the office is trying to get this technology driven out into the field. It's new. It's an iPad. It's got all these different things that I have to do now. And I can't just be out digging ditches and moving dirt, but I have to work on this, software program and document what I'm doing.
You've spent time in the field, right?
Yes.
And you know how to run all the equipment?
No.
Okay, but you know how to run some of the equipment.
Let's say I know how to start it.
There you go. Okay. So,
there's a difference between running and operating, but yeah.
Thank you for your honesty. Does that help you at all to understand where the field's coming from when you're doing these implementations?
I think you can't expect anybody to do anything that you won't do, So I've been out there shoveling, edges and over the years, obviously it's changed, but early on, you're out there pounding stakes and doing whatever it takes. So I think the more field experience you have could often hinder your business because what you find is you're focused more on what's going on in the field than on your business.
Interesting.
So what I've had to do, because, I was not a tradesman in the field coming up, is find those people that have that expertise and be able to, one, work with them on the management side that I know, and then have a mutual respect for what they do. And we're constantly learning from one another. And I think that has been, part of the recipe of how it works around here as far as creating mutual value, respect for one another, and giving us the ability to grow and take on larger projects and still be able to fund them and, all the things that go with it.
What have you learned over the years about communication that has helped you to grow the business to where it is today?
Well, I think I'm constantly learning about it. A lot of it starts with your spouse. At home with the family, the communication is key. And I'm constantly trying to do better because I'm horrible at it. And it makes you, really take a step back, especially when you come into work, to be able to, maybe I'm just assuming too much and I need to over communicate to make sure everybody's on the same page. And, there's a lot of people here that have been here for well over 10 years. So we start thinking alike. It makes the communication easier.
So it takes time. You've got to be able to attract a core and then build long-term relationships with those folks internally.
We're constantly looking to build the core. So, it's like an onion. You keep building those layers, and then you shed a couple layers at the end of each year, and you keep the good stuff. And over time, you end up with just a great bunch of people.
And the reason I'm exploring this is because you got to the Black Mamba because you've built a successful company. And so building that successful company, and this is one of the things I love about business, is it really just opens up so many opportunities for not only making money, but having a positive impact in the world. Tell us a little bit more about how you went about picking Uganda and the work that you're doing there with the particular village there. How did you go about that?
My wife met with this pastor probably 5 years ago and just touched her heart. And she goes, we got to help these guys. And we're both very adamant about helping our own family internally, our company family, and then our community family, helping all these people. And sometimes we struggle going across, the globe to help others. And I think over the years, we've been doing a lot here, and we just said, it's time for a bigger impact on something that was a 24-hour plane ride away. We talked about it quite a bit and decided it was just time to go over and do something for this village, because part of the problem is they build these structures in the side of the hill, but they don't do any excavation behind it, and everything ends up flooding into the building. Right. It's got dirt floors and it turns to mud. I mean, just all kinds of stuff that they don't consider. Yep. And we're like, well, we just need to go finish everything that's not finished properly. Right on. And, so we excavated a bunch of dirt.
Where'd you get the excavator from, by the way?
Well, we ended up contracting with a broker that got us some 1960s, 70s equipment.
Sweet. Was it Chinese or Russian?
Chinese.
Nice.
Actually, one of them was a cat.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's all like Dubai throw-off stuff that came to Uganda. Yeah. So it was definitely a challenge. But, we were able to excavate behind the buildings, bring down dirt, and create more real estate in the jungle. We actually did a deep freshwater well. Nice. So what we're doing now is getting to the point where we can start piping for fresh water to the school and the church and all the houses, stuff that they don't have.
What advice would you give to a successful construction company owner who's perhaps in a similar position to yours, where their immediate needs are taken care of, but they're kind of getting their heads up, they're looking around? What advice would you give in terms of opportunities to pick to have a wider impact? First and foremost, you take care of your employees and their families. I mean, that's your priority. For us, it's like a family-owned business. So we take that to heart, and we have 60 different families here. Right on. After you get to that point, you start investing for yourself, and then you have, finances available to do other stuff, and you just kind of go where your heart takes you. If you have a passion for something, whether it's in Uganda or California, you follow that and you get to the point where you can help them. That's awesome. I mean, just giving people the opportunity to do some of the stuff that we do is exciting to us. We feel like, okay, well, if they have running water, if they have good drainage, if they have all these things that are physical, then mentally they can spend time on, working on e-commerce or apps or something to help generate revenues for their village that maybe they weren't focused on in the past. As we're wrapping up, what would you recommend in terms of a person's focus today on their business in order to help them to really step into that passion and make that larger impact? What are some action items you would recommend to a construction company president?
Stay true to yourself. Stay consistent. Year after year, be consistent. Never be satisfied with where you're at. Be dynamically different than everybody else.
Okay.
Think outside the box. Look for new opportunities. I talk to our people about the fact that we're kind of amoebas. We can adapt in the tough seasons. We can do different types of work, and some years we're doing interior demo. Other years we're working on 50-acre sites. It varies, but there's nothing too good for us to take on.
Right.
Challenge us, and challenge our guys in the field to be able to make a good product.
So let me ask you, you said something there that just caught my attention. What do you mean by staying true to yourself?
Your values, what's important. Business is simple. You answer the phone when somebody calls you. You do what you say you're going to do, and you just execute it. It's simple as that. And it blows me away the amount of people that don't do that. If you're out there trying to serve in whatever capacity you can, and you're doing the best to serve your client, then the rest of you focus on money. You sit there and struggle because you're not focused on what is really the most important part of it, which is doing the best job you can.
What are your plans to go back and meet some more black mambas?
Hopefully I don't. If I do, they're in a zoo. I think we'll go back. There's definitely more work to be done. We're trying to get several people over there that we've met, opportunities to work through e-commerce to get and share their products to the world.
Interesting.
They've got all kinds of cool things over there.
Interesting.
And then we also have a couple guys that we met that are really excellent operators that we're trying to get visas to come to America and share some experiences here with them. So they can go back and use those, technologies that they've experienced here, as well as, the financial aspect of it.
So you can open up the Cook Engineering division in Uganda.
Yeah, maybe not.
But at least give them the opportunity to learn when they're over here.
Yeah. And they're great people. I think one of the things that amazed me the most is you come from a place like the United States and you go to several different countries and you just are mind blown by what they're lacking.
Right.
And the common denominator is they're happy.
Right on, dude.
Those people are happy over there.
That's right.
And they don't know any different.
That's right, man.
And then you're like, well, there's so many miserable people in the United States. And,
I know.
If we all didn't have anything, or maybe if we all had the exact same thing, we'd all be happier. I don't know. But it just amazed me that the smiles and the grace and just the joy that these people have with what they're working with,
That's awesome.
And so, the conversation came up with Shellie and I is, are we disturbing that force by actually introducing bigger opportunities, I mean, is that going to mess up what they've got going on?
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah. And I don't know the answer, but it's about creating opportunity.
Right on.
We've got a lot of opportunities here and we're grateful for it. And we just want to share those with our employees, our community, our world.
That's great. I don't think clean running water and some indoor plumbing is going to affect their joy too much, I would imagine.
Well, I'm sure it'll make it easier to enjoy other stuff.
There you go. Awesome. Well, Sean, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today.
It was a great talk. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Construction Genius. Hope you found that 1% of inspiration to help you in the next few days. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, share it with other construction leaders who you think would benefit, and always remember that the show is brought to you by Kick-Ass Meetings. I've been working with construction leaders since 2004, teaching them how to run extremely effective problem-solving meetings that gets their people collaborating, taps into their creativity, and to get yourself a free copy of the Kick-Ass Meeting Report, go to www.ericanderton.com/kickassmeetings. Grab yourself that free report, read it, use it in your business. You'll find it extremely useful. And thanks again for listening.